Hi YouTubers, this is Kate. Welcome to my channel. I'm excited that you are joining me. I don't really know what to say. It's Kate again. Thank you for coming back to listen to more of my story. If you haven't already, please go back to my channel, SubLYME Hope, SubLYME with an L-Y-M-E, and subscribe so you can come along with me and keep up to date with what in the heck is going on in my life, because I know it's been a big mystery for the last few years. And also take a look at my first video that I uploaded called Welcome to My Channel. It does a good job of describing what I'm trying to do. I'm currently in the phase of one of my goals of this channel, which is telling my story in full for the friends and family that I have that don't know everything that's been going on since 2014, and I want them to know. I want to be open about this because if you're not open about this kind of stuff, it's lonely. We left off, my last video was Life Before Diagnosis Part 2. We left off where I was given the news in November of 2015 that I had Lyme disease. I was given a recommendation by Dr. K to go to a practice in Reston, Virginia. My first appointment was January 13th. Happy birthday, husband, 2016. So I went to my first appointment. And I had some additional testing run during the 2-month wait period through a company called IGeneX, which tests for Lyme disease and co-infections. On that test, that day in that office, I was given confirmation that yes, you do have Lyme disease. And also you test positive for ehrlichiosis, which is is a co-infection, and babesiosis, which is a co-infection that's actually a parasite, and it lives in your red blood cells. So my husband was there with me. We had a lot of questions, the first of which being, did we catch this too late? Is it still in the phase where this can be cured? And, we can just put this behind us. And the answer to that question actually wasn't as hard to hear as I was thinking it was going to be. So no, this will not be cured. It was too late for that to happen. I don't even know when the tick that infected me bit me, and my symptoms were already pretty progressed. I was, showing neurological symptoms. So no, this will not be cured. But the good news is that most patients, a lot of patients, you should be able to go through treatment and reach remission, which is a relief of most, if not all, symptoms. Some people cycle in and out of remission throughout their life. Some people are able to have remissions that last for a really long time. So this wasn't the best news in the world, but at that point it didn't matter because I knew I was in a place where they knew what was wrong and they were going to fix it. I was put on my first round of antibiotics. I was to take it in a cycle. So there's a 3-week on, 1 week off antibiotic cycle. That's what was my starting point. I added on additional antibiotics. At the top of everything, I guess the peak of treatment, I was on 3 antibiotics at the same time, cycling them at different times. And then I was also starting to take these tinctures, which are little bottles with fluid in them, of herbal antimicrobials, which does the same thing as an antibiotic, but it's something from nature that's not man-made that's going to help kill, the bugs in your body. So basically 2016 was a bunch of cycling of antibiotics, antimicrobials, and going through Herxheimer reactions, or Herxes. I would go on an antibiotic, I would Herx, which is a die-off reaction in your body. There are 2 other diseases where you experience Herxheimer reactions. One of them is syphilis, beautiful, But luckily I don't have syphilis. But essentially, the form of Lyme is a spirochete. That's one of the forms. It's like a little like spring swirly thing. And when that spirochete dies, it lets off all of these toxins into your body, which makes you feel all sorts of things. Basically, herxing is an exaggeration of the symptoms that you have had in the past, but also lots of new things. Headaches, I had vision issues where I saw stars in front of my eyes for about 2.5 to 3 weeks straight. In my right eye, I actually saw a blue kind of spiral. It was bright blue. This was in front of my vision all of the time. I had very strange sensations in my head and in my temples. My lymph nodes in my neck would not be swollen, but I could feel that they were active. I could feel that they were flushing things out. So I would have this like nauseous feeling in my neck. I had horrible joint pain the first few months of treatment. My knees, my shoulders, and my ankles was where I felt it. I would have radiating pain in my hips. It felt like growing pains. It would go all the way down through my legs. And I would just lay in bed on my back. I couldn't go to sleep. But again, all of these things tell you and tell my doctor when I go back the progress that I'm making. So she'd see, oh, you're herxing with, oh, you're having sweats, oh, you're having, chills with no fever, you're having psychological symptoms. Well, guess what? I know that we are killing the babesia. Once my sweats went away, we knew that the babesia was basically in remission at that point. And I actually, even current day, I have not had the sweats like I was having during that time. So that's really good. I think the babesia is still pretty much dormant. Near the end of 2016 and 2017, once I started the herbals, this is where, although I tested negative for Bartonella in the IGeneX testing, the herxing that I was feeling started to change, and it started to be more, I had air hunger. Air hunger is something where you, no matter how you breathe or whether you're able to get that deep breath, your body constantly feels like you need to catch up with oxygen. It feels like your body is not properly oxygenated. It can be very, very uncomfortable down in the area of your diaphragm. I had some clicking in that area. I talked about that as an early on symptom, which a gastroenterologist told me was medically insignificant. It's not. Air hunger is a serious thing. That would just eat me up alive psychologically, because it was a gnawing sensation, and I just wanted to feel like I was breathing, and I just felt like I was suffocating all the time. I also started to have really bad burning at the bottom of my feet. It felt like someone was pinching the bottom of my feet, or like I was walking on a really, really hot blacktop during the summer barefoot. So when I started to report these symptoms, my doctor said, okay, so it sounds like we've stopped killing Lyme. We've stopped killing ehrlichiosis. We've stopped killing babesiosis. Now it sounds like you have some Bartonella in there. So really the way that you herx, or the way that your body has these die-offs, can really tell your doctor a lot about what's happening inside you. I also had, throughout 2016, Marcon's infection in my nose, which is essentially a mold issue. All of these things can cause the scalloping on my brain. So we don't know how long all these toxins have been in my body. So it was a really interesting trip down memory lane, 2016 herxing, because it was even more confirmation for me that everything that I had felt, even a few years prior to being actively sick, all of that was not normal. The pressure, the weird pressure in my head that made me do this blowing motion that would drive my husband crazy all the time. All of those things were a sign of a Lyme infection. So along with herxing, you have to learn to detox, and we're going to do videos about herxing and videos about detoxing, but that was a big challenge in 2016 that I think I got really good at, is as this die-off is happening inside your body, you have to actively be doing things every day, every second of every day, to get it all out of you so you don't get so sick and so toxic that you have to stop treatment. You need to keep the toxin level at a in a place where you're able to tolerate treatment on a continuous basis. Overall, 2016 was so exciting because although treatment and herxing was hard and there were a lot of hysterical nights, I missed work sometimes, but for the most part, I was able to work through it. I could see little moments and I could feel good afternoons where I started to feel like my old self. My energy would all of a sudden show up. And we'd be able to walk the dog, or we'd be able to go tootle around the mall, or I'd be able to sit, and my psych symptoms were gone. Like, my psych symptoms left within the first 6 months of treatment, and I remember one specific time, Steve and I had walked the dog, and we came back home, and When Harry Met Sally was on TV, and I just remember sitting there realizing that I was herxing and I was uncomfortable in a few ways, but When Harry Met Sally was on and I was sitting next to Steve, and I was so peaceful and happy. And so I just knew that we were going in the right direction. I started out by saying, oh, this is my first round of antibiotics. This is my second round of antibiotics. I wonder how many rounds it's going to take. It's going to take, and at some point I lost count, and it didn't matter anymore. All that mattered at that point was that I was seeing improvement. I didn't care how long it was going to take anymore. I actually started thinking about career growth again, and I was able to land a really exciting job with an amazing company with wonderful people, where I was building an HR department from the ground up, outside of payroll and benefits programs that had already been put in place. I had this job for probably a month and a half. It was going so well, and treatment was going so well. And then all of a sudden, it was like a bomb exploded in my body. And everything stopped. Everything halted. All progress felt like it was lost. And yeah, Lyme treatment stopped. And we didn't know what was wrong. I just want people to understand kind of, the phases of what's been going on. Because I know a lot of people have gotten confused and they say, oh, how's Lyme treatment going? And I tell them, well, I'm not really on Lyme treatment right now, and they're always a little bit confused as to why I'm not on Lyme treatment. So I was, and I will be again. Next video, I'm going to talk about the last 3 quarters of 2017 and first quarter of 2018, and what the heck caused the mix-up. And what caused my body to get completely out of whack and unable to tolerate Lyme treatment. I have a lot of hope right now that I'm coming out of what this past year has been. So we'll talk a little bit more about that next week. I'm looking forward to getting to the point where, which will be after next video, getting to the point where I'm just giving you a quick update every week on how I'm doing, and then doing a topic of the week that has to do with Lyme, or chronic illness, or loving someone with a chronic illness. So thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Please subscribe to my channel and come along with me on my SubLYME journey. Remember that hope is a powerful thing. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next week.